Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Orbital Takes, episode 10. Today is July 20th. Pat, how you doing today?
It's the anniversary of the moon landing, Spo. I'm doing great. I got my 50th anniversary of the moon landing shirt that my company, my team did a couple years ago, and yeah, psyched to watch First Man last night. You know, it's something I do every July 20th. So getting hyped, and yeah, let's get into it. How are you doing?
I'm chilling, bro. Just got back from the beach. So we hopped in the chat, and Pat was about to show me a shirt. I was like, "No, Pat, let's record this." So how come I didn't get this shirt? What, you don't want to send me some merch or what?
Dude, this shirt was produced back in 2019,
Oh,
I think,
okay.
the
All right.
50th
So
anniversary, and
years.
I cannot find any of them left. Yeah, like this one is a little too big for me. I tried to shrink it a little bit, but yeah.
No, that works. Yo, you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
So I was going to tell you guys, we have a little bit of JWST hangover this week. It's so crazy that our backgrounds right now are the actual images that we've been hyping up for how long now, since we've known each other,
Oh my
right? So it's
gosh,
just
yeah.
so crazy that they're
Yeah.
finally here. They're finally out. What are your thoughts so far? It's been a week.
Yeah, this is unlike anything I've experienced, certainly. We were kids when the Hubble stuff came out, and so I wasn't really paying attention like I am now. But yeah, it's truly yeah, like revolutionary. Not to be too existential or whatever, but like this background behind me, like this thing right here, this little, a little outcropping or whatever.
Yeah. They're like this the corner of the wave.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, there you go. The crest of the wave or whatever. I read that is like 8 light years tall.
Dude.
Like from like there to there. It was like 8 light years. And it's just like
Yeah, I actually liked this image more when they zoomed out a little bit and you could see that it's actually a massive.
Oh my God, this is like 1/100th of what the whole image is.
Yeah, Hank Green had a great video where he went crazy trying to figure out exactly where that cosmic cliff is on the image, and we can throw that in the links if you guys want to watch it there. It's just so crazy. And as I've went back, I think I've changed my favorite photo. I honestly do. I think my new favorite photo is the Southern Ring Nebula. I don't know.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, so I've been doing more research on it, and as I got a video coming out later this week about it, like I'm like balls deep in it right now. It is like watching a movie in super slow motion, looking at these planetary nebula. And obviously, they don't have anything to do with planets, so it makes no fucking sense why we call them planetary nebula.
I know, right?
I think that's what was confusing me my entire life. But now, I've done the research. These things are incredible. And I love how the near infrared and then the mid infrared are different. And you can actually see the star that's dying in real time and exposing that gas. It's fucking crazy. So I'm officially changing my favorite image to the Southern Ring Nebula. I just wanted to tell you that.
Okay, well, that's good. You're hopping on the train there.
Yeah.
I'm also going to change my favorite one to my
shit.
background here. This background here, it's I have it as my iPhone background, and like a lot of people, and I just like I'll sit there and just stare at it, and it's just like, how is this real?
That one's fire.
So yeah, number 1 and number 1A for me is number 1 is the Carina Nebula, the Cosmic Cliffs back here, and then 1A is the Southern Ring Nebula. I also love the Edge on Galaxy above your right shoulder.
Yeah, right up here.
Yeah, that's super cool.
That thing is clean, and it's so like perfectly slanted for our view, right? I thought that it was like at the perfect slant where they didn't even know if it was like a smudge or if it was actually a galaxy.
Yeah.
And apparently there was some internal gambling going on where one of the guys was wrong and he had to pay up. But this was not
really.
Yeah. So these dusty images weren't the only thing or the only images that Webb dropped last week. So on Thursday they had a really quiet drop of a photo of Jupiter where they got an infrared photo of Jupiter, and then they also had Jupiter's moon Europa in the image too. What were your thoughts on that? I mean, that went viral pretty much immediately too.
That was just a commissioning image too. Like it wasn't even like a real, observation. And like, it just got people super excited too. Cause I was like, oh yeah, we don't even have to look at stuff that's millions and millions of light years away. We can look at stuff that's in our cosmic neighborhood and still look at it with a whole new set of eyes.
So they said, the test for Jupiter demonstrated the ability for the observatory to find and track and guide stars in the vicinity of bright Jupiter. And they also are looking at asteroids too. I found that really interesting. Like, what? JWST is looking at fucking asteroids? Like, why?
What can't this thing do, man?
It's doing everything. I can't look at Earth. I found that.
Oh, that's right.
So it's not going to look at our planet. And I'm kind of bummed at that. But at the same time, like, that would be fucking wild. Like, how close do you think in theory, if it could look at our planet, how close could it look? Probably, probably see you taking a shit in your bathroom.
Yeah, yeah. Big Brother's already enough in our lives. I don't need the JWST, looking at me what I'm doing in the bathroom.
So that was the JWST hangover. And I would say the other biggest news. So there was a lot of free agent moves over the past week. Okay. So in the space industry, a lot of guys are moving back and forth. Why don't we tell you guys the biggest move of the week? Chris from the Inspiration 4 mission has signed to Blue Origin. What? Guys, if you don't remember, he's a SpaceX guy. He was riding the SpaceX Dragon. He was one of the first all-civilian astronauts. Pat, what's he doing signing with Blue Origin?
It's like when LeBron went to the Heat, he's taking my talents. He's taking his talents to a different team there. I have no idea. I know he's a data engineer. Let's be honest, Blue Origin is, clearly in second place to the SpaceX. So maybe they're bringing him in for, I can't imagine that he's going to be given, insider information. That's just not ethical. But then again, who knows?
Dude, Jeff Bezos probably poached him. He probably hit him up. He probably heard that he was a little sick in his Crew Dragon ride. I mean, apparently, word on the street, guys. I don't know. I'm just telling you guys what I heard on the space streets. Apparently, they didn't show us a lot of the footage from the Inspiration 4 mission while they were in space because a lot of them were sick. I heard Chris was potentially one of them. Maybe he didn't have that good of a time on the Dragon. Is that a fair point? Like, could that possibly be true that he just didn't fuck with SpaceX and he was like, you know what? I'm going to help work low Earth orbit better than actual orbit because I was so fucking sick up there. I would never even consider doing that again.
I can't imagine that's the case, but you never know. Like, Chris is a space nerd like us, and oh yeah, I went to space, but wasn't that tight, and I just want to go up for low Earth orbit now. I just can't see that being the case.
It's just so bizarre. Like, so he's an engineer now. He's just going directly over to the dark side. I mean, Elon definitely saw this news and he was like, motherfucker, like that's the first guy who's ever like left one of my spaceships. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then I saw Jared Isaacman tweeted at him. He was like, congrats, Hanks. And I have to wonder what Jared Isaacman is thinking about the whole thing. He's like, man, I paid for your flight. And you're just like, nah, not good enough.
Yeah. So
jump to Blue Origin.
So Pat, where does this put Chris for future Polaris Dawn missions or Polaris missions?
Oh, I don't think he's part of it now. If I was SpaceX, why the hell would you have a Blue Origin employee on any of your flights at that point?
Yo, Chris, what are you doing? Like, Jared is literally doing training right now with Kid, and I forget the other two names of the other people. Shout out to them because they're awesome. But I mean, they're literally training for Polaris right now. Like, what are you doing? You had the in. You could text Jared and just be like, yo, save me a seat. My orbital take here is he didn't have a good time in space, and now he wants to stay in low Earth orbit.
Yeah, I mean, one of the podcasts I listen to, it's called Space Above Us, and it's a NASA history podcast. Basically, it goes through every manned flight, and there's so much space adaptation syndrome, is what they call it. It's fancy word for space sickness. There's so much that's very prevalent, and so maybe it affects people way more than like the average person really realizes. Because like if I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to space someday, and then if I get up there and I'm just sick the whole time, like that's going to kind of suck.
That's a great point. And having said that, Pat, I want to remind you and everybody listening right now, if you want to feel like it feels when you're in space, go on your bed and hang upside down. That is exactly what Jared Isaacman said. And when he told us that, I did it for like 2.5 minutes and I was like sick to my stomach. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? So I don't know. I also have like nostril problems. I take Allegra every day. I don't even know if I can handle the nose pressure of space, Pat. That's TBD because we're going to be there one day. And I don't know. I'm not giving up, right? I would honestly just take the pass out. Like if something happens to me up there, I'll just die. I don't care. You know what I mean? To go to space.
I hope that someday they have, I don't know, some kind of medicines, medibles, or like something to be able to like counteract those side effects. But yeah.
Maybe an artificial gravity room aboard a space station would be fine, right? Like if you're feeling sick, you go in the artificial.
We're still waiting on this. Yeah. Like, come on, science fiction. Like you've been showing us this for decades, more than 50 years now. Like where's the spinning room? Yeah, we just got to stay alive, Pat, and hopefully it will come out in our lifetime. We just got to keep ticking here. And the other big, I guess, space move of the week is Dmitry, the head of Roscosmos, is out. He is gone. Wow. See ya. Saya fucking Nara, buddy. Pat, do you want to remind everybody why we hate this guy? So this guy, he's had so much over the years. I was looking through some of the more entertaining stuff that he said. I forgot that he accused Eric Berger of war crimes. Do you remember this?
Wait, what was that about?
He got into a Twitter spat with Eric Berger, like the reporter for Ars Technica, and said, yeah, when you invaded Afghanistan and when you invaded Iraq, and like, why aren't you being trumped up on these war crime charges? And it's like, well, hold up. Like, you mean like me personally? Like, I'm not invading Iraq, man. And he's like, no, like you are just as culpable as politicians. And then he said, yeah, he said, what did he also say? He said stuff like, oh, let them figure it out. Maybe the Americans build a trampoline to get up into space, or maybe they can use a broomstick.
The broomstick comment was the real one that pissed everybody off, because then everybody's like, oh yeah, we'll just go ride our fucking broomstick that actually takes off like 4 times a month. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So and it's the head of, and he also accused NASA astronauts of drilling a hole in the space station. Jeez. Like literally accused, not like it's the head of can you imagine Bill Nelson saying anything like that? Bill Nelson, the complete opposite end of the spectrum, just like droning on and on in a grain of sand. Yeah,
well, this guy was a big Twitter fingers guy. He was a big, he goes to Twitter, he talks his shit, and then he backed away into a little hole because he knew that NASA ultimately wasn't going to take his shit, right?
Yeah. It's interesting too, the timing, because NASA and Roscosmos just announced another crew seat swap, which has surprised me on a couple of different levels. First, like we're still doing this with the Soyuz. Like we have, Starliner coming online later this year. We have obviously Crew Dragon. I saw the National Air and Space Museum just removed their Soyuz mock-up that they have.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
They just removed it because of the war in Ukraine. And here NASA is signing yet another crew swap. And I understand it from the dissimilar redundancy systems that they try to go for. Having multiple providers on multiple different vehicles, I get that. But we're trying to sanction Russia as much as we can, and here it is, like we're providing one of their cosmonauts on it with a seat on Dragon, which Dmitry Rogozin was talking shit on. So I'm not sure that it's a coincidence that he steps down and then shortly thereafter the agreement is signed. But it's still kind of disappointing and surprising from my end.
That's a good point. I thought it was disappointing too. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Like inviting them back on our spaceships, especially with all this shit going on. It's not even like anything in the world like changed, right? Like they're still doing their shit in Ukraine. Like they're still like pissing off the entire planet. I think that ultimately maybe the guys over at Roscosmos are starting to look at our Starship, and they're probably looking at our fleet and like, oh shit, we can't use the Soyuz forever. We gotta, start playing nice here. That might happen.
I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I think they think they can use the Soyuz forever. They've been using this since the damn 1960s. Like
it's actually a great point.
Yeah, like I don't know. Have you watched For All Mankind? Have we talked about this? It's on Apple TV Plus.
I skipped through and I've seen the one scene where they have like the white AK-47s on the moon. Like that's the one thing that I YouTubed.
Okay. Well, you need to watch it because it's really good. But this most recent season, it's funny. It's like a race to Mars, and the Russians still have it's just like a Soyuz on steroids.
Oh, really?
That's their ship. It looks literally just like the Soyuz, and obviously that's
hilarious. And For All Mankind, it's basically it's a great show that shows what would have happened if the Russians stepped foot on the moon first, right? That's correct. The whole storyline. Yeah. That's actually pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, and how just everything in the world changed just slightly differently. Like, I don't want to give anything.
No, we don't want to.
I don't want to give a bunch of stuff away, but it's a slightly revisionist history.
Yeah.
Nixon, like for example, I think Nixon doesn't do the whole Watergate thing.
Oh, really?
And it's just it's like a butterfly effect of how much it changes the world.
Yeah,
it's a really good show. Check it out.
I know the first episode, and I don't care if I spoil the first second for you guys. Basically, it shows the Russians landing, and then they're all at a bar, like, "Oh fuck, we got to get them back." And so I did see the first episode. I remember that, but that's actually a perfect segue into this, Pat. Today is the 53-year anniversary for Apollo 11
Yes, sir.
landing on the moon. So they took off a few days ago. I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago. But I always like to celebrate this day because this was the day that every American, and not even that, people from all over the world were sitting in their homes, watching their TVs and watching the first human, Neil Armstrong, step foot on the moon. I loved it. And I don't know. I think this is a big day to celebrate. And, we're going back. We're good. We're going back. Finally. I'm so happy that we didn't have this podcast any earlier than this year because we probably be dead by now if we waited that 53 years for another moon landing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I nerd out on space shows around this time every year. I watched last night. I watched like I said, First Man. Also watched The Last Man on the Moon about Gene Cernan. Check that one out if you haven't. Yeah, it's just it's a great day. And I just read that NASA is having an announcement about the Artemis program tomorrow on the 50th.
Really?
So I don't know if they're going to be announcing a date or just a regular update, but they too see the significance of holding something on the July 20th date.
Too early for a new spacesuit announcement? Probably, right?
Let's hope so.
It's probably too early for that. Don't know. Didn't they just have like an update with spacesuits like a month ago or like
they just awarded those two contracts to Axiom and to Collins Aerospace, who were ironically the only two companies that completed a full bid. So
yeah, right. What's any updates? You got any updates for Starship or Starbase?
So we kind of talked about it briefly last week. The Starship, they had a spin-up test, which is they're not supposed to put any actual flames through the engines, but they spin them up to what the launch speed is or thereabouts, and they put some fuel through it, and then last week some kind of spark happened, and that's where we got that huge explosion. So unfortunately, it sounds like that could be setting them back a little bit. I don't think it's going to derail anything by any means, but that's something they weren't expecting. But like I just mentioned a few minutes ago, the SLS is they just completed their flight readiness review for Artemis 1. So think about that. Artemis 1 is like go. So now we're just waiting on a launch date.
Launch date is coming. It has to be within 3 weeks. It has to be. I mean, they're ready to rock.
The first one is at the end of August, early September. I think that is personally too optimistic, just the way the program has been going so far. I hope I'm wrong, obviously, but I think there's a launch window in late September, and that's what I'm going for. And we've talked about this. I am on the record saying that, and you were on the record saying a Labor Day weekend, which is the first launch window.
Yeah, we're on the record, so nobody could try to tell us that we didn't have pinpoint accuracy with our takes, Matt. That's why we're on record saying that shit. Yeah. So if that like miniature explosion didn't set SpaceX back a little bit, do you think that shirtless photo that went viral in the New York Post did? I mean, that is not the most flattering picture of Elon. And guys, I don't want to I would never intentionally talk shit on somebody's body, right? Like I've been through the up and downs, but it's like this picture's a little bit different. He is as white, I think, as a human being can possibly be. And me being an Italian who loves GTL, I take offense to that. It's Elon, go in the sun, get some banana boat suntan lotion and get a quick tan, man. You're a multi-billionaire. I get it. You're in the factory 24/7, but bro, come on, man. You gotta get your vitamin D. No,
even like a spray tan.
Dude, he looks just bad.
Some color. He actually
the
world's richest man should not be that pale.
So he responded to it. He goes, haha, damn. Maybe I should take my shirt off more often. He goes, free the nip. And then he also
didn't see
he
see that.
He goes, free the nip, and he goes, already back in the factory, by the way. And it's like, Elon, we know. You literally look exactly like you're already back in the factory. I'm glad
he's taking it in stride, because those were the photos just, and that's what paparazzi does, obviously, just capture unflattering photos of everybody. But glad he took that one in stride. I hadn't seen that response there.
He also had his buddy hose him off. So there's a photo of it says Musk is seen with Ari Emanuel.
That's Ari Emanuel. Yeah,
aboard a yacht in some sea, and he's like getting hosed off after going in the water. That's a weird move. I don't know. No, I guess you do. Yeah, you wash the salt
Yeah,
water off.
yeah,
Yeah, I
watch
guess you
salt
do.
water.
Yeah,
So Ari Emanuel is who Ari Gold is based off of an Entourage. I don't know if you knew that.
I found that out
He's a super
recently.
agent. Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. Anything else we want to hit today? I'm pretty sure that was all the news for the week. Oh yeah, Webb's coming out with more Galaxy pictures this week. They did drop. I don't know the name of the Galaxy, but it's like purple and it's going viral online right now. But it didn't come out on their official website, so we're just gonna wait for that to.
Yeah. So that one that was just some astronomer in Germany has access to the raw data, so he did that himself. So that wasn't like an official JWST reveal.
Still
but
sexy,
they said
though.
oh yeah, it's still awesome. And I think we're supposed to be getting what they said is should be near a weekly cadence of new pictures. So
yeah, guys, be ready to get flooded with those images, and as they come out.
Also, can we talk about Jimmy Buffett in the JWST Mission Control? Like, how cool was that?
This is arguably, fuck this entire episode. This is the biggest news of the week. Jimmy Buffett X JWST. Jimmy Buffett X JWST. I mean,
Chris and I are both huge Jimmy Buffett fans. I've been a Jimmy Buffett fan since I was a kid. I've seen him like 4 times in concert, and I was just like, "What? He's there?" Yeah. But he's a big space guy anyway. He has several songs about space. He has a song called "The Rocket That Grandpa Rode," which is about the Apollo missions. Desimo's building a rocket ship. He's into this stuff, so it's not surprising.
And if you look at the photo, he's like pointing at something on the computer. He's like trying to act like he's helping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can see him wearing like a JWST hat at his next concert. I told you the most recent time I saw him, I was at a Kygo concert in the Hamptons, a big beach DJ. All of a sudden, we had no idea. They go, raise your hands, put your hands in the fucking air for Jimmy Buffett. And then it's like, like wasted. Bro, the place exploded. I was like, oh my God. Sure. But that was I'm labeling right now. That was the biggest space news of the week. Jimmy Buffett collabed with the James Webb Telescope, and they had a tweet there, which is great.
Arguably my favorite Jimmy Buffett. He's a great songwriter, and Bob Dylan called him a top 3 songwriter in American history. But one of my favorite lines is rising out of that lagoon, we beat those commies to the moon.
Oh shit. I've never heard that line.
Yep.
Jimmy Buffett, didn't he have a good Christmas album? Hold on one second.
Oh yeah, he's got a couple.
Yeah,
Tis the Season and also Christmas Island.
Christmas Island was that one was fire.
Yeah.
Shit. All right, maybe we'll do like a Jimmy one episode. Why don't we do we'll do a Jimmy Buffett top 5 song of all time review. I think that takes needs that.
I could go all day, Jimmy Buffett. There's one called Einstein Was a Sailor, or Einstein Was a Surfer, and he talks about the expansion of the universe and stuff like that. And we should do an episode on that.
And we'll try to get we'll do our best to get Buffett on Orbital Takes one day, guys. All right. We can't make any promises. We can promise Elon Musk. We can't promise Jimmy B. Okay. All right. Yeah. So you have our word.
He's a world traveler,
You have our word, you'll get one of the 2 at the end of our first season. So there you go. End of episode 10, Orbital Takes. Thank you guys for tuning in. Major shout out to everybody following us on Instagram. We love you guys. Hit the TikTok. Pat, you got anything?
Yeah, thanks for following us, guys. If you could give us a review on either Apple or Spotify, that'll help us rise through the charts as well. So thanks for listening, and Ad Astra.
Ad Astra, baby. We'll see you guys next week.